there's two ways with how you get connected to a client. I'm not talking about referrals. I'm talking about when you are connected to the client, there's two ways. Either you found them or they found you. How you found each other is irrelevant. I don't care if it was a referral, a sponsored advert, cold email. You and them. They saw your link, they saw a social media post, a connection's been made. If you found them and you're now trying to get them to purchase your service or your product, you have to do a bit more convincing, because they're just going to look at you and go, well, you're just like everyone else that turned up and said, my website needs updating. You found them, and maybe they engaged, maybe they were curious. So it's a bit more hard work. But if they found you and now you're having a discovery call, phone call, video call, face-to-face, you are nearly there. You have to really think about this, right? This is a psychological shift in your head. When you found them, you're at 0%. You might be at 1%. If they've bothered to say, okay, fine, let's exchange emails or a DM or whatever, you're 1% there. There's still 99% of effort you've got to do. But if they found you, you are 25% there. Now the remaining 75% depends on, can you solve their problem? They contacted you for a reason. Have they got a website? Do you need a makeover? What are they trying to solve? And if you can solve that, that might get you up to 50%. They're a little bit more convinced that you could help them out, but you still got to hit another 50% to convince them to buy your service or hire you. They will then say to you, okay, so what's the price? What's the cost? Now, this is the point where you have to remember they found you. When you find them and you have to convince them, you're going to have to sometimes work with what their budget is. Are they willing to pay for something? Because if you found them and they weren't actively seeking you, they might not have budgeted to spend $1,000, $2,000, $50,000. They didn't budget for that. And now they have to think about, do I really want to spend it? Because I was actually going to go book a holiday. You've got to do a bit more work. But when they find you and now you've given them that kind of assurance that you can sort out their problem, you're 50% there. And they're going to say, well, how much is it? You should now be in a much more confident state to go higher. And this is the shift that a lot of you have to make. A lot of you still struggle with this. You should go in at 5 times your normal cost. So let's say you always start off at $1,000 for a website build, go in at $5,000. You should have a fair idea now of who this client is. What are they all about? What is their business about? What are they trying to achieve? So you go in at $5,000 and it can go either way now. They might say, I haven't got that. Can we come a bit lower? That means they're still interested. But this is where you now have to hold, okay? $5,000 for the full job. You can only afford $3,000. Okay, this is what I could do for $3,000. And maybe the other stuff that would have cost an extra $2,000 we do later on. You don't do it for free. You don't chuck it in and go, yeah, all right, I'll do it for you. No, otherwise you've undervalued yourself. And then they'll let other people know, oh yeah, that guy, he does websites. But you know, tell him you can't afford it and you'll get a discount. You don't do that. You now work to their budget, but you might go, right, okay, we'll do that. But you have to make your own domain to host connection. You have to make sure your emails are connected. Because sometimes clients go, ooh, I don't really want to do that. If they want to come down, you work to that budget. But what you have to remember is they found you. You convinced them you can do the solution. You gave them a price. They may agree to it. You have more sway when they found you.